So, now, just behave yourself, mate. It's time to get to the Southern Footy League. We're going to talk about your team, Cove, of course. The coach, Ray O'Donnell, head coach of the Cove Footy Club, in to join us. Ray, great to see you, mate.
How you going?
Really well, mate.
Thanks
The
for having
press,
me.
as always, Craig Warman. All good, mate?
Yeah, very good.
Recovered?
Oh, we're all right, mate.
Are you okay?
Of course we are.
No, that's all right, mate. It's next year.
Just
Always
another
next
game.
year.
Mate, let's get on with it. The Cove Footy Club, mate. 2 good on the weekend. 10-10-70 defeated Aldinga 5-9-39. Of course, they had a big win the week before that over
Going for 3
Flaggies.
in a row, mate.
About to go for 3 in a row, as you've touched on. Mate, let's talk about the Flagstaff Hill game, of course, because they're the measuring stick. I know Ranella are close, but Flaggies are the one that everyone gets up and about. What was different in that game for you guys?
It's different. We've been very competitive and sort of building without managing a win. And I went back to, someone told me a story once about asking for a 7 out of 10 effort from everyone across the group rather than a few 10s and a few 2s. And we just put that on the boys to take a bit of responsibility for some consistency and just doing your jobs, and it all sort of came together on the day.
Mate, consistency is one of the nightmare for coaches, isn't it? You know, every game, mate, you've coached, you know that. You're saying if we can just be consistent, we'll be okay.
Yeah.
And then once you get into that patch, which you looks like you're in at the moment, now it's about staying there. So sleepless nights are now not so much worrying about how to become consistent. Now they're more about how do we stay consistent.
That's right, and go from being competitive to consistently winning. So learning to win's a big challenge for us at the moment.
And the important thing now is to keep them up, because you've got Port Noarlunga on the weekend who have been a bit of a chopping block for well, they have been for every other side. It's important now that you do actually give them a bit of a belting, because if you don't, you know, it's not good.
No, we'll certainly be looking to bring some heat this week.
But you need to get the team up for that, don't you? I mean, the last thing you can afford is to have half your team running out there thinking that the game's done and dusted. Where is the game, mate? Sorry.
At Port Noarlunga.
At Port Noarlunga.
Yes.
There you go. So it's important, isn't it? Even, you know, you can be playing the top side or the bottom side. The attitude's got to be there for both, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, that's right. We're in our development phase, so we're looking at how we're playing, not so much who we're playing against. So we want to take full advantage when we can.
Hey, we were having a chat before we came on air, mate. You said you played 9 kids under 21, you know, the last few weeks.
Yeah.
So, and no coming in for you came in late, if we wind back the clock a bit. And then it was the build. It looks like the build's starting to pay dividends. Obviously, with Greg Anderson and Barry Curtin in before you, the club was clearly in the abyss. So you've done a good job, mate, to get them out of there. Yeah. What's been the number one thing for you in getting the build and the belief back in the footy club?
Probably just instilling some positive stuff around the whole club, and really getting back to, you know, the basics of enjoying football. And that's what we're all about. So taking sort of the pressure away and just looking at having some good fun, doing team first, everything real stripped back, bringing the enjoyment into it.
Mate, expectation's always a tricky one, and all of a sudden, mate, you start winning and the expectation goes up, more from outside the playing group,
outside,
because
yes.
they've been there. Suddenly the fans have been waiting a long time, and the board have been waiting a long time going, this is the year, this is it. Now you have to start dealing with that as well. Have you started to sense that's creeping in a little bit?
I hear bits and pieces, but you know, we're realistic where we're at. It's, 21, 22 games into a 3 or 4 year plan, so yeah, we're not getting too carried away with all that stuff at the moment. It's still about how we're doing it, not so much what's happening at the end of the day. The
pleasing thing really is that you're getting good numbers at your games. I was at Cove a couple of weeks ago, just walking around the boundary, and numbers, it staggers me. I mean, I was at Flaggies and Ranella on the weekend after half time, and the numbers are just amazing. You get some good crowds at Cove.
Yeah,
can't
true.
get a park.
The vibe around the place is fantastic. So
A person like me can't get a park. That's what I'm saying. I mean, yeah.
They didn't reserve it.
I built this club.
No VIP. What's going on?
Yeah.
But it is, though, isn't it? That's great. It's great. It's a great atmosphere at these grounds. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and it carries over into Saturday night presentations. The club's packed every week. It's great to see.
Enjoyed it. Had a great day.
Mate, the benchmark this year for you would be the road through to the finals. Not that you're trying to give any team any more kudos, but there's we've talked about Flagstaff Hill, obviously. They've been the dominant team the last 3 or 4 years. Just underneath them, and then you guys are really just a couple of wins away from into 4th spot. So once you start winning, who do you see as the 2 big teams, let's say, that you've got to get past?
Oh, it's, Flagstaff Hill and Ranella probably a little bit ahead of everyone. Happy Valley, just right there on their heels. And then you've got Morphettvale and Noarlunga in some pretty good form now. They've got their yeah, their team's up and firing again.
Yeah, Morphettvale were pretty big on the weekend, weren't they, against Port Noarlunga?
Yes.
So, yeah. It's kind of looking like that season, you know, where teams that have been down, we've seen a couple of the teams that are down that have taken some big losses suddenly come back and jag a win. Yep. So it is that season where anything can happen.
Yeah, it's even.
Yeah.
Most weeks there's at least 3 of the 4 games are within a couple of goals. So I think that's part of the league's development too. Everyone's playing competitive footy most weeks, so everyone's improving.
All right, let's have a talk about Ranella and Flagstaff Hill, mate.
Good game.
Baz was at the game. He said at 3/4 time he went thinking Ranella had it, and then Flaggies came over the top of him. How did you see the game?
Oh, Baz sums up pretty well. Half time there's a goal in it either way. Ranella came out in that third quarter, premiership quarter as we all know, and really did look the goods. They really put the metal to the floor and really built up a reasonable sort of lead. But then something happened at 3/4 time, and probably about 5 minutes into the last quarter, Big Daniel Butcher, who's not getting any younger, Butch, he's about 37 years of age, but just took an absolute screamer at the pack mark, went back and kicked the goal, and that seemed to spark the...
Up comes the crowd.
Up comes the crowd, because of course it was their very first home game as well, due to the renovations not being complete on time. So there was a huge crowd there, and that seemed to lift the locals, and they just went from strength to strength and ran out 18-point winners.
You wouldn't have picked it, would you? Midway through that third quarter, I'm thinking, wow, I have to put up with Smiley here on next week, because they look the goods. They
did,
really
very much
looked
so.
like they were... Flaggies every now and then would put together a nice little passage, but for the majority of the quarter, it was Ranella, and they attacked relentlessly. I thought their lead could have been bigger.
Yes.
Really, at 3/4 time, and I had to go too. So I'm walking away thinking Ranella, they'll win that, because I don't know about a breeze so much, Prez, but it looked like it could have favoured the southern end where Ranella were coming home in that last quarter. So I walked away thinking Ranella, and when I picked the paper up, I was quite shocked. So well done the Flaggies, really.
Oh no, well Ranella without the big fella. He got injured last week, of course, so that makes a huge difference, mate. So.
But we're not talking about the other side, because look, credit where credit's due. Flagstaff Hill have had a process where the one in, one out type scenario. Well, they had to replace 4 good players this week who were out for various reasons. These kids came in and played their part and just didn't look out of place.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes when a kid comes in, they struggle to find their feet and whatever. These kids knew exactly where the ball was going to go, where to run, etc., because it's been drilled into them right through the junior grades as they progress through the senior group, and they just like a glove.
Quickly, before we let you go, Ray, and please don't give me the one game at a time answer, mate, because I know that's what a coach is going to do to us, but the next couple of games for you, other than the win, what do you want to see out of your group at Cove?
What do I want to see? We're gonna keep getting better every week.
Yep.
It's our development is what we can control. So hopefully we see a different side by round 18 than we are now.
Right. Big game on the weekend for you, of course, against Port Noarlunga. Could be 3 in a row, which would be a while since the club's done that.
And that's our tribe game.
Tribe game of the week?
Oh, is it the Cobras? Yeah.
Okay.
Cove and Porties.
Port Noarlunga.
So we'll be able to give you first hand on how he
stays contained in the coach's box. I'd love to hear that, mate. Hey, terrific to see you, Ray. Well done with what you've done at Cove, mate, in the last couple of years. They've turned the corner for him for sure. Stay with us. Still, a little bit more to come on the show.